Hello, everyone. I know it's very late in the night in India and it's late afternoon in Canada, but like they say, there is no time for learning because any time and every time is time for learning. So here we have Nate joining us all the way from Canada, and he's going to talk us up and show us all the cool stuff with Adobe Express as well as Edpuzzle. So over to you, Nate.
All right, thanks again for having me, Sudipta, my partner in crime in Kolkata, India. Normally, I'm doing this from Japan, but it is summer vacation, and I'm back in Canada. 1:30 in the afternoon, actually, early afternoon. I'm in the basement of my parents' place, and I think it's funny that the light behind me is kind of like this halo. I'm certainly not angelic, but anyway, I think it's kind of funny. So today we're going to talk about Adobe Express. Only the video making tool, and we're going to look at Edpuzzle, how you can take a video and turn that into a lesson. So I'm hoping we can fit this into an hour. Means we might have to skip a few features here and there, but that's okay because you can go and explore on your own. And I'm going to show you how you can get certified with both Adobe Express and with Edpuzzle. So anything you miss here, you can go with really user-friendly certification lesson plans online and do it yourself. So without further ado, I think I'll share my screen and get moving because time is of the essence. Thanks again for having me, Sudipta.
Always a pleasure.
Yay. All right. I'm going to just share my entire screen here. And Sudipta, let me know when we can see everything. Are we good?
Yes, we're good to go.
Wonderful. All right, let me just pull up the deck. Sudipta, everybody, has a link to this slide deck. The Edpuzzle part's not as developed as the Adobe Express. I've included all of the features of Adobe Express, but we're only going to focus on the video. But you'll be able to come back to this deck at the end of the session, and you'll figure out how you can learn on your own. And, of course, come back to the video and reference. So what we're looking at today is talking about how you can take a video that already exists or create your own tailor-made video, because often there's videos out there online that there's something in it, like you have a great 10-minute video, but there's 2 minutes here that don't relate to what you're teaching, or 3 minutes there that's a little bit too advanced for your students. So one way to get over that is actually just create your own video. And I'm going to show you how to do that with the basic, easier kind of method, which is what I love about Adobe Express. User-friendly, and you can tailor it to what your students need. And then Edpuzzle, really easy to create a lesson plan, and we're going to get into that in a moment. All right, and it could be a lesson plan or just an activity even. So Edpuzzle and Adobe Express. First, a bit about myself in case you don't know me. By the way, please, if you're watching, introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us where you're from, where you're watching from. If you are, I know in Asia, it's kind of late at night now. But for myself, I actually do live in Japan. I'll be starting year number 27 in a couple of weeks. I teach at Nagoya International School. So I'm a middle years program, individuals and societies teacher, and diploma program history teacher. So the examples you're going to see here are either from that and in some cases the clubs that I supervise. But that's where I am in Japan. I do educational technology consulting. I am an Adobe education leader as well as an Edpuzzle coach, among a whole pile of other stuff. Google, if you haven't noticed. So anyway, please reach out to me. I'm on Twitter. My YouTube channel I'm trying to reboot. It's called Social Studies Samurai. Get me on Twitter at Nathan Gildart, please. And the slide deck has all those links later. Basically, that's what I just said to you, so I'm not going to read through that again. But for today, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to look at Edpuzzle, which this tool is for students. It's self-paced, it's interactive. Teachers, you can create a grade book and give individual feedback to students, and it's very user-friendly. For Adobe, it's got a graphic design and a web page creation tool, as well as a video tool. All of them are user-friendly. It has copyright-free access to images. So I encourage you to have a look at it. Today, we'll look just at the video part. I will point out that these tools, there are browser versions, apps for iPad or iPhone or your tablet. So, have a look and see what's out there. Choose whatever device you want to use. And both tools are free, right? Of course, if you get the paid version, you get more. I do feel that the free versions are pretty awesome, but if you really get into it, I do recommend you getting the paid version. All right, so today we're going to look at the student view for Edpuzzle, some examples, and then we'll look at the features of Edpuzzle as a teacher. I'm going to show you how Adobe Express video creation, or what a video looks like, actually. Then we'll get into creating a video with Adobe Express, and then we're going to take that video and we're going to turn it into an activity or a lesson plan or maybe homework for your students. I hope you get excited about this because I think these two tools are really dynamic. So first, let's talk about Edpuzzle as a not in-class activity, right? I mean, I think this is really great for flipped learning. It could be for an extension activity. It could be something that maybe you start in the last 10 or 15 minutes of a class, and then students can log out and then go home and continue on with it. Really effective tool for that. But first, let's have a look at what this is. Now, the one on the left here I'm going to show you, this is an example that my students made for me just so I could do this presentation. So everything in here, responses and that, they're kind of fraudulent, but I wanted something that my students could use where I didn't have to worry about showing their real scores and real grades and things like that, privacy stuff. So let's just go into here. So this is how this looks for the students. Now you can see on the side here that let me just kind of zoom in there just a little bit so it's easier for you to see. So at 1 minute and 28 seconds, there's an open-ended question. You notice a number of open-ended questions and then multiple choice. There are different kinds of questions you can ask, which is great, with Edpuzzle. So students know, they can see, okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions I'm going to have to answer. Now down at the bottom here, you're going to see these things that look like little raindrops, right? Well, this means that there is something there that the students are going to have to answer, or in some cases listen to. Something I like about Edpuzzle is that you can actually put your voice in there and the video stops and the students have to listen to what you say. So let me just kind of jump ahead here. Now, in these areas here, students can jump ahead when they're watching a video, but you as a teacher can set the video so that it automatically stops and students must answer a question or they must listen to what you have to say. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to skip ahead. And I think possibly you can't hear that. Sudipta, am I correct?
Yeah, we're not able to hear that.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to actually go back and change this just for a minute. Let me just stop sharing because I do think it's valuable to kind of hear this. So let me just click present again. And what I'm going to do is share my tab. And it's going to be my Edpuzzle tab. And I'm going to share the audio. Okay. Let's see. And I'm going to go share this tab. All right. And let me turn it down a little bit. It might be loud.
Yep, audible.
Wonderful. Now, here's the thing. Do you notice that it just stopped, right? So what that means here is the note feature I've used so that the students can read this if they want, or they can click play to hear it, right? Great for students that have trouble reading, right? As you watch in this first little bit on China, think about what the reason is why the Chinese did not want to trade with Europeans, and then what Europeans finally realized that many Chinese people wanted. So do you notice that I do have the question written here? My explanation is the same as the question, but a little bit different. That's your choice kind of thing. I like to be kind of authentic. So you notice that after I've listened to it all, now I can click continue. You can click rewatch, which means it's going to go back and then you're going to watch that section again. But if I click continue, now, oh, by the way, you notice here it says skip. Now I'm in the teacher view right here because you can see that I'm actually logged in. But when the students see that, they're not going to see skip because I've set it so that they cannot skip, right? They must, listen to it and then answer. So let's click continue.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still undecided. Let's begin with China. When last we...
Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to kind of skip ahead and I can do this. The students won't be able to do this because I've set it for them. But again, we're in the teacher view here, but trust me, they can't skip ahead. And let's play that.
And then in 1839, the Chinese responded to what they saw as these unfair trade practices with a stern letter that they never actually sent.
Boom, it automatically stopped, okay? And if you look here, this is where students have to answer. Again, they're not going to be allowed to skip, but they are allowed to rewatch. Now, what students would do, why at first did, the Chinese, da 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 da. So they're going to type in their open-ended answer. Note here too, though, if they want, they can answer with audio. So they could actually provide an audio answer. And this is great, especially I think for second language learners, people that are just getting to use English. Edpuzzle at the moment is only based in English. It is very user-friendly. I will say that they are working on other languages. I know Japanese is going to come out sometime next year. So I assume Edpuzzle's working maybe on Spanish and other languages as well. So keep checking back. But the English is very user-friendly. Non-English speakers in Japan, for example, they use it and they're fine with it, and so are their students. And yes, you can type in other languages and characters here. So their questions would be in Japanese, for example. So yes, you can do that. So once I've answered my question, I click the blue submit button. And then I click continue. Notice I can see my answer there. And if I click...
Commissioner Lin Jie-shu drafted a response.
Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I will point out that, yes, you can increase your screen size, you can turn on closed captioning, and you can choose whatever language it is that you want. And again, that depends on how effective the AI tool is. It's pretty good in Edpuzzle, but nothing's perfect these days, right?
So Nate, I have a question.
Sure.
So do you think we could perhaps remove the rewatch button, or is it something that's permanent?
It's permanent in there. I don't believe you can. We'll check a little bit later. In the past, it's actually been it's there. You can rewatch it.
Okay.
I would encourage people to actually not allow students. I would encourage teachers to keep
Yes.
it in there, because that's part of the self-paced thing, right? You
Right.
watch it and then you go back to it, kind of thing.
Correct. And that way, I mean, we are ensuring that the learning is happening. They let them watch, but then at least they know what is it that they are watching and what is it that they are answering.
Yeah, and I think it reduces anxiety as well, right? Students know that they can go back if they didn't get something. To me, that's a motivator for those, students that really care about their learning.
Right.
When they can do it at their own pace, they're not going to give up. They'll go back, right?
Right. So perhaps maybe not for testing, but maybe when we are having like a regular class where we want them to learn, I think then this is very effective.
I think so too. Some teachers may for me, I don't use this actually to grade student work. I'll give them feedback on it, but it's more just to gauge their understanding of something. If you were to use it as a graded tool, maybe it's something you would want to do in class. Just
Yes.
take 20 minutes with a 5 or 10-minute video, and then they do it in class, and then you can give an authentic grade. Because if you give them just a time limit, then they have to get it done and they can't be skipping around. If you use a Chromebook, you could set it so that only the Edpuzzle video is the tab that they could look at. So possible ways to use it. I'm just going to jump back here and I'm going to show one more. And I'm going to share this tab. All right. In fact, you know what? Maybe I don't need to go through this. You kind of see how it works, right? Let me quickly go through some of the features of Edpuzzle. All right. So I'm not going to show you how to make it yet. We'll do that later. But let me show you what is in here. So let's actually start with your dashboard. So I'm in my school account right now. So if here I can see community, right? If I want, like as it says, discover, this is like their discovery library, right? So you can go by subject and you can look for, different videos that are there. You could choose, for example, if I wanted to do, let's go with, find my social studies here, Spanish, English, history. Let's go with that. Maybe I wanted something that was in, grade 11, 10, 11 to 12, perhaps. I'm not going to save it. I'm just going to put it there. Let's see. Country. I'm not worried about that. The source, something that's already on Edpuzzle, meaning from another teacher, or perhaps something that Edpuzzle uploaded. Edpuzzle does create and upload their own videos. You'll notice, at the bottom of each video, you can see who has uploaded or created that lesson, right? So if I click YouTube and I click save, anybody that's got a video targeted to history, grade 11, 10, 11, and 12, it's here. So I could click on one of these and then I could use that video. I'll show you examples in a moment of other videos that teachers have made, like other lessons. If I click on my school, I can see what other people have done. So again, let me just take out the subjects here. Okay, are they out? Okay, good. Want to make sure everything's out there. Nice. So it's reloaded. So then I could look at, like Nandini, a colleague of mine, has used Edpuzzle with some classes. So you can see her name there. Let's see. So I believe, Mary, she's got some stuff there. Lauren, she's got some stuff. So I can see what people in my school are doing as well, assuming that the teacher has used their school as, like their anchor for their account, right? Which you can change later. I can look at things that are on YouTube. And of course, there's TED Talks, Nat Geo, Khan Academy. You can just, do a search. Up here in the search bar as well, you can search there. So that's the Discovery Library. Over on the left side here, there's my content, things that I've made. So I've got my grade 10 folder, for example. I click on that. At the moment, there's nothing in there because I haven't put my video in that folder. You've got your network. So here's some other people that are in your school or people that I've connected with. So you can actually create a network in your Edpuzzle account. And you get notifications. That's if students have finished something, then, turn something in. You can see that, I only had 15 people turn things in, but I can see now that 3 more have been turned in. That means I've got 18. They're all there, kind of thing. And you can create classes, by the way. So if you click this funky little plus button, you can click on Classroom, Teams, Schoology, PowerSchool, whatever it is you're using, your learning management system. You can, click on Google Classroom, and then you can connect your class. I'm not going to do that now because I already have that done. Just to let you know that Classroom, you can, learning management systems, LMS, you can add to. If you just create new class, you set up your information. You can make it open, which means you can do a few more things. Classic is what I tend to use. Choose your subject and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do that now because I have no classes to create right now. Let's see. So you'll notice here within this class that I have, this is what I had students create for me just to kind of help me out, getting ready for stuff. What I've done is invited my students to join through Google Classroom, and that automatically goes to your stream and Classroom. When you create a lesson, it'll go to, whatever topic you put it in Google Classroom. So it's quite user-friendly. Here I can get a quick look at class members and when they've joined. And I have a grade book here. Now I haven't assigned grades to these things that the students have done simply because it's, like I said, just kind of a little practice thing. I can show you what that looks like in another place, but there is a grade book, and yes, you can download your grade book. All right, that'll create an XLS file for you, so you can, upload that to wherever you need to. And we'll show you later how to create start dates and due dates and things like that. Let me just go back to like archive stuff. No, that's a different place. So I'm going to leave it at that. Let's go back to my assignments though. So you can see I've got 2 assignments here that I had this class working on. If I was to click on this, so let's go with this one right here. So turned in, 8 out of 16 are turned in. So some of my students didn't finish and help me out, 9 out of 16, but hey, that's okay. Actually, let's quickly look at what the other group did. 12 of 16, 12 of 16. Okay, not too bad. Maybe we'll click on this one here. So you notice I've clicked. I'm just going to scroll over a little bit here. Just going to move that to the side so we don't see the names. So here you can see that, okay, one student's only watched 10% of something. Another person's done 90%. This person has 100, 100, 100. So I can get a bird's eye view of who has done what and who has not. Now, keep in mind, that could be maybe a student was sick, maybe a student was traveling with their family, or maybe they just didn't do it. So you can get a quick bird's eye view of who has done it. And note here, too, you can see the attempts. They've tried it once and finished it. Maybe sometimes you're going to see they've done it 2 or 3 times, which is great in my mind. When they last watched it, right? So I've got April 14th and then later May 22nd. I mean, hey, you're a little bit late there, cowboy, right? And then, of course, have they turned it in? Have they not turned it in? This person has not turned it in. They did 90% of it, but, turned in on time or turned in late. So you get that teacher data, right? Which I think is pretty good. Now here, too, note here's where you prevent skipping, and here's where you can automatically turn on closed captioning. And right here, if I was to click on this, I can change my due date anytime I want after I've created the thing, right? Now, here, you notice it says live mode, right? Well, this is something actually, so Sudipta, you were mentioning earlier that, if we did this in class kind of thing, you can actually project your video and then in class, and then students can actually answer the questions in class as they do it. So that's a way that you could actually use it for an in-class assignment, or maybe even, excuse me, just an activity. Let me just close one tab
Yes,
here.
that
So
makes sense. Thank you for sharing.
yeah, well, and there you go, right? If you want to, you can view it as a student, right? And your video, if you click on Edit Assigned Video, if you click on that, you notice I've gone in, maybe I had a problem with some text or something like that. Then I just have to click on my edit pencil and then I can edit. So remember, this is, it's not all or nothing, right? You can go back and you can fix things. If you notice here, it's assigned to these two classes. Well, I can click one and then unassign it, which means it kind of deletes it. If I have my ellipse, you can delete the whole thing, or you can duplicate it and make another one, right? For maybe next year's class or something like that. And of course, like anything, when you're done, don't forget to finish or to save kind of thing. So that's essentially, let me just go here to my hamburger and see that yeah, I think we've gone over that stuff. Let me just go back to Edpuzzle here. Yeah, so that's essentially how Edpuzzle works. And so you notice that it doesn't have this crazy huge dashboard where you got to go here and go there and that kind of thing. So it is quite intuitive and quite user friendly. I don't know, Sudipta, what do you think?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, I was just watching how, I mean, it just feels very easy to, make the things. And best part is, it's going to be so effective in the classroom because you will have the students paying attention because it automatically makes the class very engaging. So,
Oh,
yeah, thank you for
absolutely.
sharing this.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to go back to my slide deck here. And let me just go to, all right, so something I want to encourage people to do is think beyond just your classroom, right? So for example, TED Ed Student Talks. This is just a quick one that I put together. Let me share the tab here. This is one of my favorite TED Talks. I only put this together as an example, but I have a TED Ed Student Talks club, and we learn how to, how to create an effective story arc, right? What's your hook? Hey, September quarterly event for GEG APAC. Please join us. September 8th, 9th, or 10th, everybody. What's your hook? Well, this is an example of how I'm trying to teach students what is your hook and what's the story arc. So this is a great TED Talk. And I've put it together where I've got, look at this, I have 7 other versions of this TED Talk. So I could choose one of those if I wanted to. For me, I've put in my questions here. You can see I've got my work. Oh, all right. So pay attention to how he's explaining things before he shows the images. Why is this effective? And I've recorded my voice. I'm telling students to watch it. And then, of course, once they answer, once they've listened to it, I can click continue. The point being, of course, that you could use this to teach kids in your clubs as well. Here's one for soccer. Okay, now this one is from the library. I did not make this myself, but I will be creating one of these for next year's soccer season because I just got the idea after soccer season ended. But I'm going to show some videos of women's soccer at the international level, and I'm going to have my players look at it at home so they can learn some of the things, some of the concepts that I'm teaching them and coaching them with during our training sessions, right? So here, for my soccer club that or soccer team that I coach, high school girls at NIS, here's another way to use it. Let me show you one more. I am also a Model United Nations supervisor. So, and again, what I'm going to do is actually take videos of my students in MUN demonstrating how things are done. And then I'm going to create videos. But, while I don't have time, here's one person that uploaded an entire video. It's not really a lesson. It's just their video. But maybe if I wanted to, I could actually take this video that this person has uploaded and turn that into a lesson for my students. I do recommend keeping your videos kind of short, like maybe a 5-minute video. When you think about it, it's going to take them probably a 5-minute video, 10 or 15 minutes to do because the questions pop up. They might have to rewatch. They have to type answers for open-ended questions. Think about the length of the video, right? If it's a long video, that's a lesson plan. If it's a short video, it might be a 20-minute activity. So keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that, with your clubs, you can do this as well. All right, so let me close a few tabs here. Let me just, close a few things.
I think you need to share your screen again.
Oh, okay. If that happens again, please let me know. All right.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to Before I share my screen, folks, let me just kind of tap into what's coming up next. Yes, well, I better share my screen. Hold on, because I do want to show you. And Sudipta will put this in the chat, everybody.
Right.
Boom.
Would you also like me to share the slide deck now or later?
Maybe a little bit later towards the end.
I'll do
All
that.
right. So I do want to show you folks. Okay, so here there is online professional development for Edpuzzle you can do. Let me just tap on this and share this with you. For some reason, when I was in Japan presenting in Osaka, this online PD thing did not pop up. I don't know why, because I certainly don't have it blocked in my parents' Wi-Fi. Okay, let me just come back here. For some reason, that's not popping up. But if you go to the Edpuzzle website, you're going to see that they do have free online self-paced PD. And I'd say start from the beginner level and then kind of work your way up. All right. So that is there.
So Nate,
So,
do we need to pay for any of these courses?
No, the courses are all completely free.
Oh, wow.
And the
That's great.
modules actually, you notice here it says 40 minutes, 3 modules, 45 minutes, 3 modules. So these are really bite-sized. So if you only have like 1 hour in an evening, you might have family lesson planning, or maybe you're waiting at a coffee shop for a friend. Why not pull out your laptop, get on the coffee shop Wi-Fi, and get it done in 30 minutes.
Right. And these are all certificate courses, right?
Certificate courses, you will get a certificate emailed to you. Yep.
That's great.
Courses you can see now are offered in Spanish. Down the road, they'll be in other languages as well.
And Nate, how long, for how many years is this valid? Like I know the Google certification is valid for 3 years. And we need to renew that.
These don't have an expiration date unless, now I did my coaching stuff several years ago where there was no expiry date.
Wow.
And Edpuzzle, the only thing in Edpuzzle that's really changed a lot is that one, they're adding languages, and number two, they are connecting curriculum. So the American Common Core, with your videos that you create, you can now connect it to Common Core standards. They're working on GCSE and A levels from the United Kingdom, and they will also be working on the International Baccalaureate. So if you create a lesson with this, you'll be able to connect it to standards of different curriculums around the world. At the moment, Common Core is the one that they have.
Wow, that's nice.
It is nice. It is nice. So if you create a lesson, you can actually prove to agencies that accredit your school or your district that, yes, this is a lesson connected to whatever, right? So keep your eyes out for that, human beings. All right, so let's get into Adobe Creative Cloud Express. I have put just a few things in here. When I'm talking about teachers creating their own stuff, I am compelled to emphasize these things. Number one, be honest, be equitable, try to avoid those biases that we have, try to identify our hidden biases, which it's impossible to fully do that, but really think about it. When we represent other people and other places in the world, just be careful that you're doing it honestly and not perpetuating stereotypes and bias and that kind of thing. Bottom right, thinking of your audience, you know your students. If you're creating a video or a graphic or anything for your class, make sure it's level appropriate kind of thing. Moving over to the right, it's more tips and tricks. I always do my research first. I'll show you in a moment what that looks like. Get your citations and your credits in there. Preparation. If you have your images, videos, anything you're using to make content with, have all the work done first, so that when you go to build, you don't get stuck and bored and, oh, this is taking forever. Do the research first and then put your thing together. Goes by quickly. And again, consistency, right? If you want your teacher brand to stand out with your students, be consistent, and then they'll appreciate that. Oh, that's Ms. So-and-so. That's Mr. So-and-so, right? Your fonts, your themes, that kind of thing. Copyright, Adobe Express, everything is copyright free in it. With Edpuzzle too, if you want to use a video that is connected to their platform, it's their video content you're not allowed to show. It will tell you that you're not allowed to show this content. So that's another reason why these two tools are really cool. If you're using, with Adobe Express Video, the background music, it's all copyright free. And with the video tool, anything you use from within the Adobe Express, it's all copyright free. And with the web page and the video, it will actually automatically create the citation for you at the end, which saves you time and it keeps you academically honest. I absolutely love that feature. though I do try to use my own stuff when I can. So design principles, really think about this. If students are actually making these, like today we're talking about you creating your own video. I think it's great when you're having students create their own stuff, you go through and teach the design principles, because as a teacher, when you teach it, it automatically is going to stay in your head, and hopefully you're modeling that for your students, right? So design is a 21st century skill. So think about that when you're creating stuff. Talk to your kids and think to yourself about the iterative process, create, get some feedback, edit, that kind of thing, if you have time. Evaluation is really, really important. And think about, if this is for formative assessment, summative assessment, that kind of thing. And remember, this is for you too, not just your students. I'm not going to go too much into detail about that because we only have 30 minutes left. Oh, time goes by so quickly. I'm not going to go through the graphic design bit, just to let you know that graphic design is here if you want to go and look at some samples later. So we're going to get to the video part, but let me just quickly skip here to let you know that there are web pages in Adobe Express you can use as well. So you can go through that on your own. And so I don't forget, when you get to this slide, you can click on the Adobe Creative Educator program and teach yourself how to do what I'm about to show you. And Adobe and National Geographic has some free PD. If you click on the Nat Geo icon here, it is linked. So you'll notice this one's a link to Adobe only. This one's linked to Nat Geo and Adobe stuff. So in fact, these two things, if you want to post in the comments, Sudipta, go ahead and post the Edpuzzle link to personal learning, and then the Adobe one as well. And we'll get the link to this website a little bit later. So here are some examples of videos that I've created and that my students have actually created. Let me show you. Let's see. This is a teacher exemplar video. This is what I made for my students to see when they were creating their own videos. So let me just click here. Let me share this tab. The French Revolution was a turning point in world history that had a long and wide-reaching impact. We learn a lot from political cartoons and illustrations, and we'll analyze one today. I'm going to point out too, look at the title here. It says Adobe Spark Video. When I created this was called Adobe Spark. Now it's called Adobe Express, okay? Note here at the video, the transitions, right? You see that transition that came just a moment ago? Boom. This is an etching from George Cruikshank, a British caricaturist and illustrator in the year 1819, and a half later. Boom. There are many. So you saw that those transitions were really quick, really smooth. Well, with Adobe Express video tool, whatever theme that you choose, it actually does all that for you. You can't change it. You can change fonts, but you can't change the colors and this and that. And that's the whole point. The point is you're creating a quick video that you can use in your class or that students create. But it goes, you don't waste time trying to be, the next, Bollywood or Hollywood director, right? You spend more time on the content and less time on the video production, which is why I think it's just a fabulous tool. Let me go back here so you can see at the end.
I was about to ask who's speaking, and then I realized it was you speaking in the video.
It's me, and I'm going to show you how to do that, actually. I'm going to create a video within about 10 minutes as I show you. And then we're going to take that video and upload it to Edpuzzle and create a video for that. Note here, too, though, this video that I've created for my students, this is actually teaching them about political cartoons, how different techniques are used by political cartoonists. So I'm actually teaching a skill through this video. It's content, but the content is not focused. So the topic is the French Revolution, but the skill that I'm teaching is identifying techniques that political cartoonists use. So you could use these videos for teaching content, which is what I'll show you later, but you can also use Adobe videos, Express videos to teach skills as well. You just got to be creative. So anyway, I'm not going to go through this whole video, of course, but you get the idea of those transitions. So what I'm going to do now is pop over to Adobe Express. And let me share this tab. So just to give you a very quick overview, you can see at the top here, you can create your own custom projects. These at the top in your dashboard, these are all, for the most part, graphics, right? So your graphic design tool is featured at the top. When I click on projects here, you can see my projects. What you're going to notice is I've got folders It's right up here in the top right. That's where you create a new folder. That kind of stumps people a little bit. Not as intuitive actually as it could be. But anyway, you can create folders and then put things in certain places. So for example, if I was to mouse over this, I could edit my project. But if I click on my ellipse, I can actually move it and choose where I want it to go. I'm not going to do that now. I could actually create like a new folder, but that's not the point of this session right now. But I do want to show you that if you want, you can create your own brand. So I could create, put my own image in there. Here's an example of a brand. Actually, I'm going to delete that because it's going to pop up in my video. But if you want your little watermark, your little brand to be in your videos, then you could actually create your own logo. And then that goes on all the stuff that you make. You can remove that as well. And you got libraries and things like that. If you click on the Learn bit, this is where you can learn how to use different things in Adobe Express. So I'm going to go back here. If I was to scroll down, you can see some of their highlights in that. And then I could go and, oh, I guess it's gone now. They've made some changes. You could look at the things you've been working on more recently. If you click on projects, you will get the ones that you've been working on recently. If you haven't noticed that, these are ones that I've been working on lately. So let me go back to home. And so I want to show you how to do the, how to create a video here. So if I click here, here I've got the different things that I could, create an Instagram story, post, flyer, collage. That's a whole different session, which maybe we'll do down the road. Quick action stuff. But what we want to do is actually go here to where it says video. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to give it a title. So I'm going to do demo video Kyoto, Japan. All right, because I'm going to use Kyoto, place I absolutely love. Now, if you want, you've got templates that you could use. For myself, I always start from scratch. So I go to that button down at the bottom that says Start from Scratch. It's in the cloud, right? So you need strong Wi-Fi, and you're going to have to wait a little bit. If you have to wait a bit, don't worry about it. The program is fine. It's a Wi-Fi issue. So you want to have good Wi-Fi when you're doing this. Good Wi-Fi, not necessarily super strong Wi-Fi. Complete video projects by August 9th. Oh, there's going to be new things. So if I create a video by August 9th, I got to finish it. For today's purpose, that's fine. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to choose what kind of layout that I always go with my theme first. So there's different themes. If you mouse over, it's going to show you kind of how it looks. This is the one I used for that French Revolution video. Okay, here's another one. I kind of like this one, but you can mouse over and get a sense of how the transitions are going to look. So I think I'm going to go with Elevate. I do like that. So I'm going to click on that one. So that's my theme. I guess I'll go with, I'm going to stick with actually the black color, but you could change the color if you want. I'm going to go with black. If you want, you can add your brand. That goes back to if you created your little watermark kind of thing. You can add that, and it'll show up here in the bottom left. If I want to resize anything, so for example, if my assignment is create a short Instagram video or a video for Twitter, you could choose square, and then that's going to automatically adjust the size. For this, we're going to go widescreen, okay? Now, the music is another thing that I think is important. You could add your own MP3. It's got to be MP3, right? You click on that, and then you just choose what it is. MP3, I think it's MP3 if I'm not mistaken. What I'm going to do is actually bring this down. I do think background music is very, very important, but you can turn it off if you want. But I think background music is great, and it's a good chance to teach kids that the theme has to match the the topic of whatever it is. It's got to match the video, right, or the topic. So what's Sweet Arrival sound like? Let's turn that up a bit. Yeah, that's not. I don't like that one. Nope. Nope. So let's see. Bringing change. Nope. Let's see. Let me choose one because this is important. Playful. Whistle away. Nope. Let's go with. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I kind of like that. So I'm going to choose it. So I've clicked it. That's what my background music's going to be. I know that took a moment, but I'm just going to put it right here, and we'll adjust the music later. We're going to start with layout. I always like to start with a full screen, but these are the 3 different options that you have. You could have the title and text and that kind of thing. If I click on full screen, I've got that, and then I could add videos and photos. Let's see, I might want to actually add the title. So what I'm going to do first is, so I've chosen title and text. So I'm going to click Kyoto, Japan. And down here, now note here, I could make it a little bit bigger if I want. I could make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to go with the biggest, actually. And I can't bold it. So that's just the way it is, folks. But again, see, I'm not wasting time. Whoa, a majestic UNESCO city. Kyoto's got something like 18 or 20 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So I'm going to call it, in fact, I'm going to take out, I just kind of like that. And let's see, make that a little bit bigger. So, okay, this looks kind of boring. So let's add a photo. Let's add a background. So I'm going to click on my little plus button. If you notice here, let me just kind of zoom in. Top left, I've got my plus button. I'm going to choose photo. Now, if I chose video, I've got to upload my own video, right? And remember, if you do that, then what you're going to want to do is make sure it's copyright free. But here I'm going to choose photo. I could upload my own, but I'm going to choose Kyoto. And I'm going to see if there's one that I want. I love that one. I've got one actually I took that's similar to that. But you notice here, some of these have a little crown. Well, that means those are only for the paid version, which I have right now. So I'm not going to choose the paid version. I'm going to choose a photo that's not paid. So I'm going to click on that. And as I see this, that looks good, right? I've got the white background with a relatively darkish kind of image, but it kind of shows that, you know, majesticness or the majesty of Kyoto. So you notice this is spinning a little bit. Sometimes that little wheel is going to spin and spin and spin. All you have to do is just kind of, you know, click out, then click back. You can keep moving on. That will upload kind of thing. Now I notice here, I'm just going to drag and move that. Sorry. Yeah, if I could drag and move that, just to show you that you can drag and move things around, right? This one right here is actually not your first slide. This one is. So what I want to do, I'm on my first slide here. Actually, before I do that, let me show you that I've put that in. If I go to my credits, do you notice here it says Travel Mania Sunset at Kiyomizu-dera, Pagoda Temple, blah, blah, blah. My citation is in there. It's done for me. If I have my own images, I can add my own credits there. But for now, I've got my citation, I'm good to go. But what I want to do is have some audio. And so I've got my little microphone button here. And honestly, earbuds with a microphone, this is all you need. Trust me. You don't need a Blue Yeti condenser mic, though those are pretty cool. You don't need a special lapel microphone or lavalier microphone. This is all you need. And it'll sound fine. So what I do is I'm going to click and hold for 1 second, give my introduction, and then I'm going to wait 1 second and stop. So here we go. Kyoto, Japan is a majestic UNESCO World Heritage City with many sites you're going to learn about in this video. Okay, so now I want to see how it sounds. So I'm just going to click play. Kyoto, Japan is a majestic... Okay, so the music is way too loud, so I'm gonna pull it down even further. Let's see how that sounds. Kyoto, Japan is a majestic UNESCO World Heritage City with many sites. So that's not too bad. If I had time, I'd definitely play around with it a little bit, okay? So now I want to add my first place. So I think I'm going to start with, well, actually, let me show you. So I've got my research done here. This comes from things that I've done on my own. I don't have my links set up. Normally, I'd have my citations ready to go. But let's go with Kiyomizu-dera first. So what I'm going to do, you can see that. So I am going to take this, and I'm actually not going to, well, maybe I will use this text. In fact, I'm going to take both of these little paragraphs, and let me go back to Adobe. Okay, so this is what I want to work with. So what I'm going to do first, though, I think I'm going to go back to my layout, and maybe I'll use the caption feature. So I'm going to click on caption. Now watch what I do here. I'm not going to put my photo in just yet. Well, maybe I will, actually. So here are Kiyomizu Data photos. In this case, I'm going to upload my own. So, what did I call that? No. Kyoto 360, Kiyomizu Data, 2D photos. These are photos I took on my own. So let me just scroll down and get the ones that I want. Bear with me here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. I love that. Don't have the pagoda in the background, but that's okay. So I've got my photo. Now I'm going to add my text, and that's going to take a moment. Like I say, it takes a bit of time to spin. Let me go back here. Let me just see if I can add my text. Okay, this is okay, good. Now I'm going to click, and I'm going to add all of that text. Now it looks like there's a lot, right? So I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. But what I'm going to do, now watch this. Now let's say I want to use this image. Now I don't like that background. You can't actually change that. You know, that's kind of the way it is. But watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down here to my ellipse. Let me just, why is that not allowing me to zoom? Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to click here and I'm going to choose duplicate. And note now that I've got a copy of the same thing. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here and I'm actually going to delete that second paragraph, make that a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to go to this one and I'm going to delete my first paragraph.
This photo is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I took that when I was traveling about a year and a half ago in Kyoto. So here, I don't like that background that is instantly held there. You can't do anything about that. If you don't like that, then what you can do is just split your screen, and now you can see that it's here. And I could do that here if I want. And in fact, just to make it a little bit different, a little more interesting, notice now I've got the same image, but I could change the image if I want. But I'm going to go in here, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. I'm going to go to this one, make that a little bit bigger. 2, 3, there for consistency. So now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to record. I'm just going to read this as I do it. So again, I'll wait 1 second, and then after, I'll do another. Kiyomizu Dera, the Temple of the Pure Water Spring, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Kyoto, Japan, founded around 778 Common Era, and it promises that if you drink the water, you'll have a long life and be healthy. Okay, so that's about 15 seconds. Try not to keep it too long kind of thing, but Kiyomizu, good. That showed me the transition and that kind of thing. So now I'm going to go to my next one. I'm going to do the same thing. And note, I don't know if I highlighted, but I'm clicking and holding this. So I'm going to click and hold. The grounds speak of the past, with the monk Enshin followed a calling to come here. He met a human in the form of a Buddhist goddess of mercy, Kannon, and understood the sign to establish a temple. Okay, and so I'm going to listen to it, see how it sounds. The ground. Okay, wonderful. Now let's say I want to add another one. I just have to click plus, and notice they've added one more. So bear with me. I'm going to add one more place here. So let me go back. I think I'm going to go with Kinkaku-ji, and I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to copy that, and let me go back to Adobe Express. I'm going to add my text. Okay, and I think for this, I'm going to go with, I'm just going to go with that, actually, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to click that. I'm going to drag it down. You can do that, actually, if you want. So that's kind of nice. And so now I'm going to add my own photo here, Kinkaku-ji. So I'm going to upload. I'm going to go back. 3D photos, Kinkaku-ji. This is called the Golden Pavilion. I absolutely love this place. There, let me get a closer photo. There we go. Put that in. And so now what I'm going to do while that's loading, I'm going to go back to credits and, I'm just going to type my credits here. But what I would do is write down, which specific images are photos taken by me. So let me go back here. This I'm just going to quickly record. Kinkaku-ji, the Temple of the Golden Pavilion, began as a villa of an aristocrat and the waka poet Sayonji Kitsune. And this was done during the Kamakura period around like 1185 to about 100 years after. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, and again, that's a little bit long. I know it sounds fine and that kind of thing, but so let's say I made this video, maybe it was, I don't know, like I have 5 other places in there. I would just keep adding to it. Now, if I want to preview, I can click preview up here and see how it looks. Kyoto, Japan is a majestic UNESCO World Heritage City. And I pause it. If I want, I can click download or I can share it, but I can also, let's see. Yep, you were looking at the right one. If I want to, I can click share. First, I got to publish it. So I would click on publish, choose my category. This one would be education. If I want, I can put subtitles in there kind of thing. I could change the title just to Kyoto, Japan, right? And I could change the author name. If I wanted to be featured on Adobe, I could, but I could take that off as well. And then I click create link. This means it goes public. I'm not going to do that. I can click share and I could send it to Google Drive. Then I have to, click on whatever account I'm using and that kind of thing. I am going to go back though, because I'm not going to do that right now. Let's just hold on. Let this kind of reload. We might go over an hour here if that's okay, but it won't take long to show the Edpuzzle. Just let me know, Sudipta, if that's a problem. So again, sharing, I can invite people to actually collaborate by clicking share and then that person icon, or I could do it right here just by adding their name. Sudipta, whoops, I don't type. So if I typed in Sudipta there, then I could, put her email address. I can send a message. The one thing with sharing, I can collaborate, but not at the same time. So in real time, 2 people cannot work on the same project, but you can work on projects together. And I have had students actually do this. If I click download, it's going to prepare for download. Now this is 1 minute. It might take a little bit of time. So what we'll do is wait for this to download. And then I'm going to go back into Edpuzzle and show you how that works. So I do want to point out that you can see here, it says preparing, right? So that means it's preparing to download. So I'm going to keep that open. But let me go back to Edpuzzle and get you started on that while we're waiting for this. Otherwise, I might just...
Usually, how long does it take for this download to take place?
It all depends on the length of the video. So this video I've made is roughly 1 minute long. So yeah, it might take a little bit of time, like, a few minutes, that kind of thing. 10-minute video, it might take about, 10 or 15 minutes. It depends on the strength of your Wi-Fi, but it's because it's in the cloud, it will take a little bit of time, right?
Right.
So you notice here, I'm not about a quarter way through, so that's not too bad. So tell you what, let's go back to Edpuzzle because we want to show you how to take your video and turn it into a lesson. So let me just share this tab. So we are back into Edpuzzle. So right up here in the top right, it says add content. So I'm going to click add content. And here it could be record video, create a project for students. You can upload. That's the one we're going to choose. But I will point out that you can click discover video content. And if you click on that, actually, it's going to take you here. And then you can, like, I don't know, Japan history. If I click on that, then I can choose any of these videos and use them. If I click on it, then I can create my own thing. So I've clicked on this. And right up here, I can click copy. So then I can create a copy of the video. Now, if I want, I can assign it to my students as this is. If I like everything this teacher has done, I could go in and edit. But if I click edit, it's going to create my own version. We are not going to do that. Let's go back to Adobe. I just want to double check and see how we're almost done, actually. We're getting there. So if you can see here, we're almost done preparing, and I do think it's worth the time to kind of show you that, hey, we are making our own video here. So let me go back here. If I click on add content, so again, apologize for bouncing back and forth, but if I click on add content, oh, wait, something I do want to show. Let me just go to YouTube. Let's see. YouTube, Japanese history. So let's see, the entire history of ancient Japan. If I click on that.
Are back, you guys. Event.
Okay, let's just wait for that to play through. So you can see I'm in YouTube right now. This is the video that I want, so I'm going to pause that. all I'm going to do is click share, see right there. And then right here, I can copy the URL. And so let me go back to Edpuzzle. So I've got my URL for this video I want to use. And so now that I'm back in the Discover, or the main dashboard for Edpuzzle, if I just paste it right there and click search, that video comes up. And so now what I can do, if I want to cut or change the video, I can trim it a little bit. Let's say there's a little bit that I don't like at the beginning and a bit I don't like at the end. Then I can set it that way. So up here where it says voiceover questions, or right up here where it says edit, I can change the title if I want. So let me click this. If I click on voiceover, or if I click on questions, this is where I can begin my editing. I'm not going to do that because I want to use my own video. I will point out that voiceover feature, we can't use that. The way to get over the voiceover is to add a note. But again, voiceover is voiceover the video. You can't do that. But if you want your voice to say, hey, everyone, in the next minute, pay attention to, then you could do that with a note. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. Let's see. Let's go back to Adobe. Okay, so now you can see that my video is ready for download. So I'm going to click download here. Downloading video. Okay. And you can see down the bottom left, it says about 2 minutes. So we are going to have to wait for, let's see, it's 21 megabytes, about a minute left, it says. So it's worth the time waiting. Sudipta, any comments while we're waiting for this?
Oh, I'm just amazed at how beautifully you're just bringing all this together. It's so fascinating. I'm loving every moment of it. And I'm just waiting to get my hands onto this and create something, create magic out of this.
Yeah, and you know what I love about this is that, just with a basic image-based video and the transitions done for you,
Yes.
it's really quick. I've got my notes written down, but you don't necessarily have to have notes. You can just put some images together and then explain what they are, record your voice, download the video, and then, oh, look at that, my video is downloaded already.
Wow.
Yeah, right? MP4 format, by the way, if you're creating your own video. Let me just go down to my Finder here. I'm going to go to my downloads. There's my video right there, everyone. Okay, so I'm just going to, actually, I'm going to close that because I'm going to go back to Edpuzzle because we're ready to make a video now. All right, so let me get out of here. I'm going to go back to Edpuzzle. So again, I'm going to go back to add content. I'm going to choose upload video. And so, yep.
Sorry, are you showing us something? Because we're still on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm not sharing the proper tab. So let me go back.
Right.
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
But thank you for interrupting. That's why it's important to have a good moderator with these things. All right. So my video has downloaded. So I'm going to go back to add content right there. And I'm going to choose upload video. Okay, and you notice here I can either choose a file, I can drag and drop it, or I can, anything that's in Google Drive I can add. For me, I'm going to choose a file. I'm going to go to my downloads, and I'm going to upload this one. And so you can see now the video is uploading. It's at 25% already, halfway there. Look how fast that's uploading. I mean, I love it, right? So now it's preparing the video. That's going to take a little bit more time. And once that's prepared, what I'll want to do is actually put it in whatever class folder that I'm going to use. I'm not going to do that, right now because my students are on summer break and I don't want them to be confused. So tell you what, while that is loading, in fact, what we could do is maybe, basically what's going to happen is this video is going to upload and then you create your thing. But if we could just wait a moment and let that upload, let me go back and show you a couple of other student samples. Okay, so first I want to show you a sample of how there were 5 girls in a group that they created their own Adobe Express video teaching people about aspects of economics. And so we uploaded these, but here you can see that we've got, their topic was mixed economies, and we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there were 6 people actually working on this. And I've uploaded these with permission to my own thing. But their assignment was to create a YouTube channel. Each student creates their own video based on the templates. So they actually created their own graphic. They called themselves the Econ Queens. And you can see the consistency. They use the exact same theme in Adobe Express to create their videos, and they had the exact same introduction with their videos. So let's have a look at how this kind of looks here, how it sounds.
It's really cool.
It is cool.
YouTube channel where you will learn all about a mixed economy. We created this channel so that we can help you learn more about economics.
Here's the second one.
Welcome to the Econ Queens YouTube channel where you will learn all about a mixed economy.
Welcome to the Econ Queens YouTube channel, where you will learn all about...
Like, see so the girls were learning not only about economics, but they were actually teaching it. They learned a big concept and how to break it down into its different components. And then they actually got together and, you know, thought about how are we going to brand this? What order are we going to do it? How do we make it consistent? I mean, this was fabulous, right? And I was really happy to go in and help them learn how to do this. And hey, folks, if you don't know how to do it yourself, like the econ teacher, former econ teacher at my school, she came to me and said, "Hey, Nate, I want to do something a little more dynamic. Can you help?" And I said, "Yes." And this is the result. So go ask for help if you're not sure how to do it yourself. And this is all done with Adobe and then just uploaded to YouTube. And I use that as an example. Okay, so now let me share the tab. So now you can see I've got my video uploaded here. So I'm going to make my own lesson plan. So I'm going to click on this. And so now let me actually edit. Okay, so I think what I want, maybe I'll click on edit. First thing I'm going to do is change the title, Kyoto, Japan. All right, so I'm going to save the title. You know what? Let me add that again because I should put there. I put a more dynamic title in. Now, just as a reminder, you can't do the voiceover. Now, actually, why add a voiceover? Look at that. I can do that. Quite often, you know why you can do it? Because it's your own video. YouTube will not allow you to do voiceovers, but if it's your own video, you can. My bad. I completely forgot about that. I'm not going to add a voiceover, though. But think about that. You create your video. You could add your own voiceover later. I just do it in Adobe, to be honest with you. So here, I've got my questions. What I'm going to do is first play it and then pause it. Kyoto, Japan is a majestic UNESCO World Heritage City with many sites you're going to learn about in this video. Okay, so I paused it, right? So what I'm going to do is click Note, and then the first one is Kiyomizudera Temple. So I'm just going to say, when was Kiyomizudera first established? Now, and look at me, I'm just a terrible typist, everyone. I'm not going to pretend. So now I'm going to actually use the microphone icon. I'm going to wait 1 second, then record and wait 1 second. When was Kiyomizudera first established? Pay attention to this question and answer later. Okay, so I'm going to copy that because I want to use it later. So I'm telling them, hey, be ready for this. So I'm going to click save and just wait for that. And then I can listen to it. When was Kiyomizudera? Okay, or I can edit it, I can trash it and start it again. But I'm going to click continue for the sake of argument. Kiyomizudera, the Temple of the Pure Water Spring, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Kyoto, Japan, founded around 778 Common Era, and it promises that if you drink the water, you'll have a long life and be healthy. Okay, so I pause that. I'm going to create an open-ended question. And notice that the text is here, right? The text is there, so that's too easy of a question, so I would do something different. Here, too, I'm going to allow audio responses. So I'm going to click on, and I'm going to click save. If I want, I can edit it, and I can edit it anytime I want. Otherwise, I'll click continue. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through a whole bunch of other ones, but I will pause this. The ground and point out that you can create multiple choice questions as well. So let's say I go a little bit further ahead. What I would normally do here too, though, I would say pay attention to blah, blah, blah. But let's just go right there. Actually, the end of that. And then I'm going to add a multiple choice question. And you would type in the question and then answer one. Whoops. Let me just for the sake of showing you how to do this efficiently. Answer one. Whoops. Answer two. I'm going to add another multiple choice answer, answer 3. If I want to really make it challenging, I can make it answer 4. Let me answer 5. And hey, answer 6. So it's not as simple. There are 6 possible answers. And let's say answer 4 is the correct one. I'm going to click that. All the other ones are wrong. Oh, but what if there are 2 correct answers? I'm going to click on that as well. So in this one, there are 2 possible correct answers. I'll click save. And then I'll click continue. And you notice here that multiple choice, there are 2 possible. King Kakuji, the Temple of the Gold. 2 possible responses that are correct. So let's say I'm finished. I've done all of this. I'd usually have a longer video with more questions that are a little more thoughtful, but you know how to make them, right? Let me click finish here. The teacher assist part you can play with on your own. It's in beta version right now. So here I go. I've got my my thing. If I want, I can add closed captioning or no closed captioning. I want to assign it to a class. So right up here, if I click assign, I can, tap on whichever class. Maybe I want it to go to 2 classes, and then I click assign. Right here, I can choose turn on closed captioning, post on Google Classroom. How many times do I want the students do the assignment? Maybe I'll allow them to only 3 tries. Maybe I'll allow them as many tries as they want. So they can't skip. Closed captioning is on, and then it's going to be posted on Google Classroom. Start date might be on Monday, and then the due date might be, let's see, on next Friday. And then I can choose the time, like I want it to be due at, I don't know, like, let's go with 10 a.m. Right, and then I just have to click save. I'm actually, with that I can click save for when it's all due. I would click assign to assign it to my class. I'm not going to do that because I don't want my students over summer break to see these. But if you click assign, boom, it's going to be assigned to them, and it's going to be on Google Classroom. So let me just kind of cancel that. My apologies for not showing you, but I don't want to confuse my students. If you click on the ellipse here.
Exactly. When they're on their summer break, we don't want to do that to them.
No, exactly, right. Here I could move this to a folder. I can add it to a playlist of videos if I've got more videos. Let's say you got a unit, you've got 4 videos in it, then you maybe create a playlist. You could share it this way by copying the link and then just pasting it, to Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams. Again, you should just go through your LMS if you want. And again, you can always edit it. If you want to click on edit, you can go back and you can change anything that you want just by clicking on the little teardrops and of course the edit button and make your changes, right? So really it is that simple. So if I go back now to my content, now I can see that I've got this, video here, right? So, and anybody in my school now can use the video if they want. Projects, videos, no, folders. I only have that one, so we don't have to go through that. So I'm actually gonna leave it at that. Let me just go back to one more thing here, just to remind you. If I share this tab, let me go back to number 1. If you scroll down, you're gonna see where you can get your certification for Edpuzzle, and of course, with Adobe. I encourage you to do your own learning. And again, there's the National Geographic stuff that you can do as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to go back and join everyone. So there it is. Create your own video and then make a lesson on Edpuzzle. And it's all your teacher authentic thing that's targeted and tailored to the needs of your students, not something that somebody else made up online. Thanks so much, Sujit. I appreciate you having me because I love these 2 tools and happy to share.
And I'm so grateful to you for sharing these tools, Nate. This is really going to help all the educators out there because you're actually creating content which is going to be, tailor-made for your specific classes. I think that's basically what we need to work towards. And, I'm loving the part how, you can record your own voice. And I think, somewhere students kind of relate to the fact that, you can hear your own teacher's voice while you're doing the lessons and while you're doing an assignment. So I think that's really effective.
Yeah, that's super important, and that really personalizes, the activities that you're doing as well. honestly, students do think it's kind of cool when their teachers have their own YouTube channel, and you assign something, but you don't tell them that it's your video or your voice, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, that's you. It's really funny, right? It's like,
Yes,
yes, it
absolutely.
is. Yeah.
So you definitely make your classes interesting. I mean, I know you're teaching history, so you actually bring it alive for them, and I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's fun. And remember too, I mean, you could do this just for like an extension activity. It doesn't have to be for a full lesson. Let's say, okay, I've got some students that they tend to finish quickly and finish their work well. So what can I do that's not going to bore them? And in fact, instead of creating a video for them, tell them, hey, I want you to learn how to make a video to teach other people something.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I've never asked you this, but how did you come up with Social Science Samurai? I mean, what was the vision behind it?
Oh, well, I wanted to create a channel a number of years ago, and I'm talking like 10 years ago, but didn't have the time. And recently I haven't had a chance to, work with it. But I just thought, well, I live in Japan. Samurai, yes, they were brutal warriors, but they're pretty cool. So even my band, like coming up with a couple of band names that I play in, I let things percolate over time, and I come up with ideas, and I do kind of bounce them off other people. And I noticed, Praniti, thanks very much for joining us. I hope you got something out of it. But with Social Studies Samurai, I had said to a friend of mine, like, yeah, I'm thinking of starting a website and a channel. And her name's Sarah. And Sarah said, I really like that. And she's a very intelligent, very creative person, right? An art teacher and really good with tech. And she said, you know what I'd do, Nate? I'd buy that domain right away and pay the $20 a year and just sit on it. And so that's what I did, actually. I bought the domain and I set up the YouTube, and I didn't do anything with it for about 2 or 3 years, just so I own the domain, right? And I advise all of you to do that. If you have an idea for a website but no time, buy the domain and spend the $10 or $20 a year to keep it, and then you got it when you're ready. And if not, at least you have it, the peace of mind. So I don't know. I just kind of came up with it. The alliteration, I kind of like it. So
Great. So thank you so much, Nate, for all these amazing tools that you have been telling us about. And I know a lot of people from India as well, especially the Google Educator Group leaders and co-leaders are going to really benefit from this. It's a little late here in India, but then this is something which they can always go back to, like the videos that you showed us on Edpuzzle. So thank you so much. And so we will bid farewell to the audience here, and hope to catch up with you again very soon.
All right. Take care. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye
Good
from
night.
Canada.
And a good day to you, Nate.
Thank you.